Diversity Challenge. Asking the questions, Jeremy Paxman.
Right, we're going to take a music round now. For your music starter, you'll hear a piece of classical music. 10 points if you can identify the Austrian composer.
Walser Monkman.
Schubert?
Schubert is right, is Prometheus. That was one of many musical settings of poems by Goethe. Your music bonuses are 3 more classical pieces inspired by Goethe. In each case, for the 5 points, I want you to identify the composer. Firstly, for 5, this German composer.
Is it Beethoven? Beethoven?
No, that was Mendelssohn, inspired by Goethe's poems Calm Sea and Prosperous Voyage. Secondly, the French composer of this opera.
I would say Bizet. Or no, is it Goethe with Faust, right? So it would be Gounod. Gounod?
No, it's Massenet, his Werther from Goethe's The Sorrows of Young Werther. And finally, another French composer.
This is Sorcerer's Apprentice, which is by whom? It's by... oh my goodness, it's not Saint-Saëns, it's Canet or something, right?
I go for it.
Canet.
No, it was Ducay. You did get the right piece, though. It was The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Right, we're going to take a music round now. For your music starter, you'll hear a piece of classical music by a German composer. 10 points if you can identify the composer.
Balliol Goldman.
Beethoven.
It was Beethoven, yes, part of his violin sonata, opus number 12. He dedicated that violin sonata to the composer Antonio Salieri, with whom he studied between 1800 and 1802. Salieri was an influence on the careers of many now well-known composers. For your music bonuses, works by 3 more of them. 5 points for each composer you can identify. Firstly, for 5, this Austrian composer.
Mozart.
No, that's Schubert. Salieri brought him to the Imperial Seminary. Secondly, the German composer of this operatic overture.
Hindemith.
No, that's Meyerbeer. He was an advisor to Meyerbeer early in his career. And finally, this Central European composer.
He said Austria. But maybe have another go. I don't know. Dvorak.
No, that's Liszt. Salieri taught him at one point. For your picture starter, you're going to see a hypothetical concert programme made up of 3 well-known works, all roughly contemporary of each other. For the 10 points, I'll need the names of the 3 composers whose works are listed.
Balliol Goldman.
Schumann, Schubert and Donizetti.
Nope. One of you want to buzz from Robinson? If you don't have an idea, we might as well just get on with it.
Robinson Pinder.
Verdi, Strauss and
No.
Schubert.
It's Mendelssohn, Schubert and Rossini. So picture bonuses, 3 more hypothetical concert programmes, each made up of well-known works from 3 composers. In each case, the 3 works listed were composed within 10 years of each other. Again, for the 5 points, I'll need the names of all 3 composers. Firstly, for 5.
Liebestrand's list is the first one. I don't know him over there. Is that Verdi? May as well.
It's Verdi, but Verdi has a long career.
Okay, so let's try now. Any guess?
What's your suggestion? Okay, Liszt, Verdi, and Fauré.
No, it's Liszt, Verdi, and Berlioz, Les Troyens. And secondly?
Pass.
That's Richard Strauss, Oliver Messiaen, and Heitor Villalobos. And finally?
Okay, so Je m'appelle Sati, Sweet Bergamasque is... did we have Berlioz already? That's Berlioz, isn't it? And Chegalita Manina, someone Italian, 20th century.
Verdi, Puccini.
Okay, okay. Puccini, Berlioz, Sati.
No, it's Puccini, Debussy, and Satie. Your bonuses this time, Warwick, are on the Russian choreographer Michel Fokhin. Which short solo ballet did Fokhin create in 1905 for Anna Pavlova? She took it as her signature piece and is said to have danced it around 4,000 times.
I have no idea.
There's Giselle, but that's not a Russian thing.
Tarantella.
Is that like a dance?
That's a folk dance.
Oh, okay.
Giselle?
That's the Dying Swan. Secondly, premiered in 1911 and set to music by Weber, which short ballet depicts the romantic dream of a young woman after she's returned from a ball?
Oh.
Cinderella something?
Is it something that might be?
Yeah, just say that.
Cinderella?
No, it's The Spirit of the Rose. And finally, first performed in 1909 and set to music by Rimsky-Korsakov, which ballet by Fokhin takes its name from the heroine of the 1001 Nights?
Yeah. Scheherazade?
Correct. Your bonuses, Balliol, are on German cities as they've appeared over the years in references on this programme. Firstly, the birthplace of Brahms and Mendelssohn. Which city links early European coffee houses with the mouth of the River Elbe?
It's the mouth of the Elbe, then it's Hamburg.
Hamburg.
Correct. The birthplace of Albrecht Dürer, secondly. Which city links the 16th century pocket watch with Wagner's Meistersingers?
I think it's
Meistersingers von Nuremberg.
I'm going to go.
Nuremberg.
Nuremberg is right. It's a music question. For your music starter, you'll hear a piece of classical music. 10 points if you can identify the composer.
Edinburgh Smith.
Liszt.
No, anyone like to buzz from Balliol? You may hear a little more.
Balliol Goldman.
Gounod.
No, it's Berlioz. So, a moment ago, you heard a little bit of Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique. It quotes the melody of the medieval part of the Mass known as the Dies Irae, or the Day of Wrath. For your music bonuses, you're going to hear 3 more excerpts from classical works that quote the Dies Irae. In each case, I would like to know the composer. Firstly...
I don't know, it sounds like Holst.
Okay.
Holst.
No, that's Rachmaninoff from his symphonic dances. Secondly...
Prokofiev?
No, that's from Mahler's Second Symphony. And finally...
Liszt?
It is Liszt,
Hey,
yes.
hey.
Often cited as an example of the Italian Verismo style, which composition premiered in 1890 and was the first major work of Pietro Mascagni?
Edinburgh Smith.
Cavalleria Rusticana.
Correct. Right, begin to take your music round. For your music starter, you will hear an excerpt from an opera. For 10 points, I want the title of the opera in which it appears.
Alton Chowdhury.
Carmen? No.
You can hear a little more, Warwick.
Warwick Hutchings.
Nabucco?
No, it's Il Trovatore. So you recall that a moment ago, none of you recognised Verdi's Anvil chorus. Your music bonuses are excerpts from choruses in 3 more of Verdi's operas. For 5 points, I want the title of the opera in which the chorus appears. Firstly, for 5.
Aida.
Correct.
Nice.
Secondly?
Could it be It sounds like Macbeth?
It is Macbeth, the chorus of the Scottish Exiles. And finally?
This is Nabucco. Nabucco.
It is indeed the chorus of the Hebrew slaves. We're going to take a music round. For your music starter, you're going to hear part of a song cycle by a British composer. 10 points if you can identify the composer.
Emmanuel Barton Singer.
Britain.
It is Benjamin Britten, yes. Midnight on the Great Western. It was a setting by Britten of a poem by Thomas Hardy. Your music bonuses are 3 more settings by Britten of well-known poems. This time, in each case, I want the name of the poet whose work has been set. Firstly, for 5.
Death Be Not Proud.
So that's done.
John Donne is right. Secondly,
I wander through each chartered street, near where the chartered Thames does flow,
Who were the...
and mark in every face I meet marks of weakness.
Who's in every signs of weakness, signs of woe?
Yeah,
Is that Blake?
I don't know.
Blake. Blake.
it was William Blake, yes.
Excellent, Bruno.
Finally,
What passing bears for these who die as cattle? Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles rattle.
I don't recognise it at all. Yeah, go for it.
Shakespeare.
no, it was Wilfred Owen, part of his anthem for doomed youth in his War Requiem, Britain's War Requiem. Right, Newcastle, your bonuses, the first set of bonuses in this match are on first symphonies. In each case, the answer is a Russian composer. Firstly, for 5. 1867 saw the performance of an early version of which Russian composer's Symphony No. 1 in G minor, known as Winter Daydreams?
Tchaikovsky.
Correct. Secondly, which composer's Symphony No. 1 in D minor was first performed in 1897? His enduringly popular Piano Concerto No. 2 appeared 3 years later.
Rachmaninoff.
Correct. And finally, the first of which composer's 15 symphonies received its premiere in Leningrad in 1926, when the composer was 19 years old?
Shostakovich.
Correct. And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.